Welcome back to TO Kids. Today's question is going to be how much of an ethical obligation does the public have on supervising celebrities and idols? We're going to talk about cancel culture and standing idols and celebrities and like the idolization of them.
We've talked about this kind of before, but we were talking about the artist and the art and the separation of the two. But this time we're looking more at the person, the celebrity themselves. You can relate this to like people on Twitter or celebrities. They'll say they have the platform big enough that they'll say one thing and the whole world, figuratively speaking, the whole world knows. And in my opinion, I think nobody's perfect, and they should be held accountable for saying dumb stuff on the internet. But there's an extent that we shouldn't cancel them because everyone makes mistakes, especially if they get canceled over something that was brought up from their past.
First of all, I think that brings up like two questions for me. What mistake is like too big of a mistake, and also how far in the past is too far in the past. So like, you know, if if they like, I see a lot with like pedophiles being canceled on social media, and obviously I agree with that because pedophilia is wrong, as we discussed kind of in our last episode. But also I see that happening to people like who did those things in the past, like their past mistakes are coming up. So like, is it like 5 years or 10 years? Like, when does their past mistake just become the past?
I feel like that also comes from like the severity of the situation, because if someone said something very dumb in the past, they said a couple of dumb comments that could be borderline something, and they should be held accountable for saying that in the past, but I don't think their past really describes them now. And I feel like if we see the growth and the change from that, then that's fine. I don't think they should be canceled off the face of the earth or like not have a career anymore just because they said a couple dumb things in the past. But there's also that other side of that. People would, for instance, like they would say something like racist in the past, and then they would get called out for it, and then they would sort of fake an apology or try and get their viewers back and their fans back so they can look pure again in their eyes. So,
but doesn't that
we're also dealing with that situation too. You can go.
I think the issue with that is that when do we know it's a real apology? And like as Ariana said, like they may like know that what they did was wrong and they apologize for it, but like cancel culture likes to say that every apology and everything they say is, fake, and every apology isn't, heartfelt, and they're just trying to save their career, which I think every apology comes from a place where they want to save their career. It's the way that they're making money, and it just makes sense. But there are also, I think, in some cases that they are trying to apologize. But when does it come from? Like, when is it an apology, and when is it they only feel sorry that they got called out? Like, how do we determine that?
I have an example for that. So we go on TikTok. A lot of TikTokers get canceled for saying the N-word. And by now, you should know, as somebody who's connected to the internet most times, that you shouldn't say the N-word, if you're not Black, because it not only is it disrespecting the Black community, but it also is just showing how ignorant you are as a person. Even being exposed to like many people being canceled before you for saying the N-word. There's that. I'm sorry I got caught. That's when you say I'm sorry I got caught. When you got caught saying the N-word, even though you know as somebody in the younger generation connected to the internet that it is wrong to say the N-word, especially on camera. Or at all.
Yeah, and I feel like this is seen with language and body language, because with using their language, they would say, "Oh, I'm sorry I got caught," or "I'm sorry to those I offended," not saying, "Oh, I now know that this is wrong and I'm taking accountability for my actions." And also with their body language, because they may be saying all the right things, but their body language may be saying something else. They could say, "Oh, I'm going to improve myself in the future," and they're shaking their head no, indicating that they're not actually thinking that, indicating like their subconscious is showing through their body language saying that they're not actually going to do that in the future. They don't really care on that level.
Okay, but
Ariana, so. I guess what I would want to bring up with like and further go off of like what Cindy said earlier with cancel culture being so skeptical of like apologies. I feel like with cancel culture it's always like guilty until proven innocent instead of like the other way around. So it's at least like I understand where they're coming from. Like you should, be skeptical of these people who have done these bad things and understand that they should be punished. But it seems as though they just believe whatever they hear and they don't ever like form opinions on their own. It's kind of like a hive mind mentality, and they always go against these people even though they might have like really, like insignificant crimes, like not saying the N-word, but I guess specifically I've seen some things where they like make like a joke or something, and it's a very dark joke, and and it may be about them and it might offend some people, but it generally wasn't supposed to offend. And I feel like cancel culture would just immediately jump onto that person, and instead of like actually investigating and like taking their bias out of the situation and understanding the entire like full like scene.
Here's an example. When Shane Dawson joked around about him having sexual intercourse with his cat, what do you have to say about that?
Hey, well, that specific
unnecessary.
instance. The thing is, those instances where these people have been proven time and time again to do wrong things, like him joking about sexual intercourse with his cat, and him making this blackface character, and him, continuing to, I guess, just play into like, his idea of like being an empath or whatever. Like, it's just constant things that add up, which I understand why people are canceling him, because he doesn't deserve a platform, and he's proved time and time again he doesn't deserve a platform. But with specific
Doesn't learn from
instances,
his mistakes.
yeah, with specific instances, it's just like in his case, it's not just his past. Like he's continued to do these things. But with specific instances, like what I mentioned, like I feel like people are just canceled, at the drop of a hat, and it doesn't really matter, and they don't really consider like the full idea, like the full concept and the arguments on both sides.
Yeah, Aaliyah brought up the insincerity of apology videos and apologizing once they've done these actions. But I don't know if this is devil's advocate or whatnot, but do we, as the public, really need an apology video? Like, they don't even know these people in real life. Yes, their reputation is on the line, but if they're canceled and no one's going to accept the apology video, why make it? Like, we don't need an apology. Nobody's perfect. These are just people who have a larger platform than we do. If one of you was to do something dumb, you'd apologize, but you don't need to let everybody, the whole world, know that you did something wrong and you have to own up to it.
Here's the problem.
Kayla, go.
Okay, so false information or bad information spreads much faster than good information does. So if I were to donate to like a charity $5 million, and then the next day it's like I hit and killed somebody with a car, which one's going to picture more to me? Which one? So that's the problem, and so that's why they have to get up and make an apology video.
They don't.
Wait a minute.
Yes, maybe they should make an apology
video for murdering a person.
Maybe they have to make an apology video, but they don't owe us an apology video. I guess there's a difference. That's what I mean.
I think they owe an apology video to the people who they offended, who they hurt. I don't know if you owe an apology in the case of like murder, because that person's dead. But
if it's a person who said the N-word, they should make an apology video to the Black community, because they offended the entire community. And plus, since they're such a big, high-profile person, or they are an influencer, they influence large groups of people, everyone's also looking at them. So I feel like they sort of have this obligation to make that apology video to save their own reputation, and to also show and tell people that, hey, I understand what I did, what was wrong, and now I'm fixing it. Because on social media, you can't really portray those emotions on your growth or your change. Like, yeah, you can change your style, you can change your hair, but you could still be the same person at the end of the day. And you don't really see that on Instagram or TikTok. Probably YouTube, but very rarely.
Also,
Molly,
Uh.
are you going?
can continue.
People only see what you show online. So if I'm a good person in real life and I get caught for doing something bad on the internet, they're gonna only see me as that person compared to who I actually am in real life.
Yeah, and
I wanted to bring up Jenna Marbles as another
She
example of cancel culture. Wait, okay, so what happened with her was like all her things that she was being canceled for were things in the past, right? And then people brought it up when they were trying to cancel. You know, when YouTube was trying to cancel a whole bunch of people like James Charles, Tati, Shane. Like when they were trying to cancel them, they brought up like stuff about Jenna. But instead, like unlike the rest of them, Jenna set out an apology video and then stopped her career as a YouTuber. She's not making any more videos. She doesn't do YouTube anymore. She doesn't do podcasts. She's not on anybody else's things either. She like fully stopped it because she felt like her actions in the past she felt really bad, and she apologized for her actions, and she just decided that she no longer wants to be part of that like community and YouTube community. So like I think that shows a very good example of people who learn from their past mistakes and no longer want to feed into that culture too. You know, if that makes sense? Because she also had a big thing about cancel culture and stuff.
I think a big part of it, like the problem is that people on the internet, trolls, commentators, whoever's canceling these people, they're actively looking for something to cancel them for. I don't understand what's the need for that. Why are they actively looking for something to find wrong? Like you're going to find something. Everyone's done something stupid on the internet for the most part.
Yeah.
At least those people.
I feel
believe
like
it's
with Jenna Marbles, okay, so I feel like with Jenna Marbles, I think she is a good example for that, and it shows that she has sincerity, I guess, in her apology to fully understand like what she did wrong, and you know, not only correct it, but also I guess kind of overcorrect it in a way, because she's, you know, completely like deplatforming herself instead of letting other people deplatform her. So she understands that. And what I wanted to get on to earlier is that these people have like a moral responsibility. So it's very important for them to apologize. It's not just like, you know, oh, they did something wrong. As long as they admit that mistake to themselves and continue on, it's like fine. You know, these people are influencers. They have this moral responsibility to, you know, because people are watching them and people are being influenced by them. They have a moral responsibility to own up to their mistakes and correct them and, you know, make amends with the communities that they've hurt. So I feel like it's not as simple as like, you know, you shouldn't have to broadcast it to the whole world, as, you know, Ariana mentioned before. Like they are, you know, everything that they do is broadcasted to the whole world. So their apologies should be too.
Mm-hmm. And also back to what you were saying, Ariana, with why do people actively look out for things like this? And so I did a little research and I watched a couple videos talking about cancel culture. And so it's basically like a modern day witch hunt. And so people would actively search out things to cancel people on constantly on the daily, because they need some amusement. They like to see other people's downfall, and that's amusing to some people. Like, here's an example. So Charli D'Amelio, she was quote unquote canceled just because she didn't like a certain type of food and she spat it out. And some people would see that as a character flaw, that she's a picky eater, and then would attack her just for the minimal thing. Like, it's okay to be a picky eater, but in their eyes, and as an influencer, you're sort of put on this pedestal that you have to be perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, all of this, like the cancel culture and everything, and putting people on a pedestal, I mean, like that all plays into the overall, like, idol and celebrity culture. So I want to know, do you think that the celebrity and idol culture is toxic, and should this sort of culture even exist?
think we'll always have an issue with like idolization of like people and celebrities because we aren't able to see every aspect of their life. We only see the aspects that the media and how like, you know, perfectly curated these people are. You know, they're packaged in a certain way, and we as normal people, like, we just romanticize and idealize this idea of the perfect person. We want that life that they're living because we only see the good parts of it, right? I don't think that we will ever have this time where we don't idolize people of like celebrity status because just how like the media portrays them. And then we can also see the difference between like idolizing like different celebrities from different countries. I think there's a big difference of packaging in American culture versus like Korea or like China, where they package their idols as like the personal boyfriends or like love interest of the fans, right? So that makes the personalization of the idols more, and that's really toxic for them because then the lifestyle for the idols is directly something that the fans think that they have control over. While in America, I think that there's a very big divide between the celebrities and their fans, where there's not as much interactions between a celebrity and the fans in America. So I think that that idolization is different. And while I think both stan cultures is really toxic, but I think the ones in Korea and like the Asian cultures is a lot more because of how personal those kind of relationships can be.
I feel like, I mean, what you were saying with how, I guess, idolization, we'll always have a problem with that. And I think we often, you know, as teens, you know, we only know this in our lifetime. We see like this cancel culture as like, you know, a really big deal, but it's always been happening, like for all celebrities across, you know, all types of time, especially in, I guess, like in history before our time, like, you know, seeing people who were canceled, I guess because media had more of a prevalence. And I guess we connect cancel culture a lot more to social media now. Although I feel like social media does provide, I guess, an out for like cancel culture sometimes, because we get to see different perspectives of it. We get to hear other people's opinions on cancel culture, and it's not just like the media is canceling this celebrity for this reason, and we have to trust the media because, you know, the media is like the only source we get. But we're understanding more perspectives about it. And I also feel like social media is allowing us to have like a parasocial relationship, like what Cindy was saying, and you know, that how we see in like Asian cultures, where we have a deeper connection with the people, especially for like YouTubers and like social media influencers. So while traditional celebrities kind of get more of leeway within the cancel culture, you know, ideology, now that we can understand them more, you know, they also are restricted because we can understand them more.
I want to say, elaborating with Cindy, as those people try to pursue like more for like a perfect image, we just seem to start forgetting their own humanity, because it seems as though as we pursue perfection more perfect we become, more likely we are to lose more aspects of our humanity. And how the fans interact with people who they see as perfect is, they don't really see them as much of a human being, especially idols from Korea.
I think you can go.
I was gonna say the historical context of like cancel culture. I feel like that was already in our society, as what you were saying. Like, I agree with you, Kalea, but I feel like the magazine tabloids were like the early 2000s version of cancel culture, because when I was in the grocery store and I would just look at the tabloids, it would be so much drama about who's getting divorced, who's cheating on who, how to lose 25 pounds in 1 week, or something ridiculous like that. And it would just be a spread of lies and drama, and basically just trying to find the flaws in people and searching for others' downfalls. And I feel like now cancel culture has shifted from just the media standpoint, but also people on the internet and the media as well. Because I feel like it's gotten worse over the years.
I don't consider it worse. I mean that's why I kind of like brought up that point. I just wanted to realize that it's kind of like similar. I think we can connect to social media influencers more now. We understand them more, so we don't judge them for like everything that they do. Like personal issues, we're more open about like mental health issues and drug addictions, and just like, you know, understanding that these people are people. So we don't cancel them for those little things, but we still cancel them for other things, because now we kind of treat them like a friends. And, you know, we wouldn't want our friends to be doing these things, so we're kind of like judgmental. It's really difficult to find the like sweet spot for that relationship with celebrities.
I understand now. So idolization is when we create. Okay, so we're looking at K-pop idols, right? And we look at Korean people or the Korean idols, and we see that we don't really know much about their personal lives, to be honest. That's the problem. So with the introduction of social media, we have people, like as Kalea said, we're able to interact with them more. So I feel like social media is actually helping us humanize people more. If we were to look at tabloids and magazines from like 2007, we were in 2007, and we didn't have the social media we have right now, and we look at tabloids and magazines, we're like, wow, that person they're gonna like create like fantasies, fabricate fantasies in their own head, make what this person might seem like just from like watching a TV show or looking at their instruction to like how to cook yam or something. And we're gonna like look at them and we're gonna say, oh, this person must be like this. And rather with social media, we have the person talking about how they feel, what they're doing, and how social media is actually affecting them as human beings.
I don't know if like the personalization of the celebrities would actually help quell cancel culture. If anything, I feel like it would make it worse, because we're treating them as if they are a friend, you know? So while it can humanize the celebrities, I do feel like that it crosses that boundary of like, because okay, the thing with like celebrities and like tabloids like 20 years ago or whatever, you know, when social media was still a new thing and we still couldn't really like interact with the celebrities, is that it still kept that boundary of like, yeah, like celebrities are like those people over there, and like it's like the normal people or like the public, we're over here. So like there's still that boundary, there's still that disconnect. And so I mean, like when people spread gossip, of course that like it hurt their reputation. But once we start thinking of these celebrities or these people that we idolize as like, you know, as friends, I feel like it would hurt their reputation more if something came out, you know, controversial, something like they said, like, you know, if they're involved with that controversy, I feel like it would hurt their reputation more, because it's like you're being betrayed by a friend, you're being betrayed by someone that you thought you knew so well and that you had this like personal relationship built, at least from your perspective. So I feel like in that way, personalizing the people, it hurts them more than just seeing them as these faraway celebrities, as these faraway idols that you can't touch.
That's what happens. That's why. Okay, so recently there's this idol named Henry. He's a member of NCT. So he was caught wearing dreadlocks, and a lot of black ensigns were like really hurt. NCTs were really hurt by netizens. Okay, I'm saying probably netizens. They're really hurt by people going off and by him just like wearing dreadlocks in general, because there's been many times in the past where NCT has done a lot of cultural appropriation, and he was wearing in such a way that made him be portrayed as like a Rasta, a Jamaican Rasta. So many black fans were like, whoa, we shouldn't do that. And there's like some people like, oh yeah, he didn't mean anything wrong. There's black fans who personalized him, and there's also the black fans who went in pursuit to try to distance themselves from the idols. So I feel like the more distance from the idol you are, and the less you personalize them, the less in denial you'll be when the person actually gets accused or canceled for something they did.
I don't know. I feel like that's more of... Oh, go ahead, Cindy.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can wait until after you. I was just gonna say that I feel like, both of them have their own faults, but I think that by distancing yourself and not like with idols, you can kind of see how that distance of like their true self or personality kind of showcases how harder they fall when they do something bad or something that's cancelable, right? So like because the media and the fans are so disconnected from them that they see them as this perfect person because that's how like their companies portray them as this faultless person, that they're perfect, amazing, they're so talented, right? That when they do something bad, they fall so hard, in the of the fans and in Korea, and like I feel like that's a lot worse for idols themselves, is when they portray themselves as that like perfectly disconnected like idol. Well, sometimes I feel like if they have that personal relationship, that humanized like idea, they won't like that fans know that they aren't perfect. Maybe it wouldn't be as hard of a fall from grace,
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
So you're kind of,
Go ahead.
I was saying, so you're kind of dealing with that like sweet spot of, hey, I have flaws and I'm a person, but also I'm a celebrity and you don't truly know me. So it's like, I feel like it's really difficult for a celebrity or an idol or an influencer to keep up that image, and I feel like that's why a lot of them resort to drugs or alcohol or partying, and they probably try to seek some sort of outlet to release those emotions.
I don't know. To me, I can see how like putting that distance between like the celebrities and like the people, it can hurt them because they're being portrayed as this flawless, perfect being, and humanizing them can like relieve them some of their scars and stuff like that. But I don't know, I'm more looking at the impact of canceling them as rather than like how easily cancelable they are, because while it can humanize them, I feel like the impact would be stronger if the person got canceled, if the person that you thought that you had this relationship with and like was a friend to them, I feel like the impact would still be stronger. Although that they would get like canceled less, but the impact there would like be like stronger than like if they were seen as this distant idol, from like with like that boundary between like the people and the celebrities. Yeah.
I think
Cindy,
like what Aaliyah was saying, what is it that like I think the real issue is making sure that the fans and the stands know that their idols are human and that they are people with faults and mistakes. And I think that's the issue that like the companies and the media have to change first, and like the portrayal of these celebrities first, because I think that in both cases, like even if it's like you're friends with, like if you know that your friend is not perfect, when they make a mistake, it wouldn't hurt as much, because I think in both cases, fans still think their idols are perfect. And I think because that's how the media and Hollywood portrays them as, and their companies portray these idols as, is that they're supposed to be perfect, that they are the perfect person, right? They're going to be the perfect boyfriend, idealized person in your head. And because of that, like, packaging, I think that's what causes fans to be so hurt when they do get canceled. And like that's why I think in both cases it's just how the media and companies portray them as,
I think it's sad that we choose to, like, unknowingly we choose to idolize these people, but you really can't do that to anybody. Not like probably even the Queen of England has done something wrong. Like,
She's
a lot
lived a
of
long
issues.
time.
I mean, definitely.
people are people. They just happen to, get there somehow. But everyone knows who they are.
Okay, and that's all we have time for today. Thank you for listening for TOK Kids. TO Kids.
Saying it right.
For cancel culture and idealization of celebrities. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Graffam. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe,
Bye.
comment, click the bell
Maybe next episode
notification.
we're going to have an apology video for the last.
Yeah. We might need to apologize for that Christmas video.
All right. Bye.
Bye.